So I had to take an Uber recently, and Ian wants to watch this show, and I'll be like, "You got to finish your sandwich." He sat there with a big piece of turkey or something hanging out of his mouth. I'm watching through the door. Eat it, eat it, yum yum yum. And anyways, so I'll get this Uber, and from the airport, and it was like over $50 to go from the airport to here, to my house, and we were just talking. It's a Cuban guy. He's talking how he's a contractor, third party contractor to ADT, security company. He does the installs. He's like, yeah, they're just not, the business isn't real good anymore. You know, not a lot of basically business to keep them on as contractors. So he goes, the writing's on the wall essentially, and I may have to look for another job. But I also have been doing Uber for a long time too, as a second job. I'm trying to send my kids to school, blah blah blah. Just the very basic stuff you would expect to want to do, and just struggling to make it work. And he says, he's like, back when Uber started, years ago, I think maybe whatever the fee they charge, we would keep 70% as drivers, around 70%, and Uber would keep around 30. And he goes, now it's like Uber's keeping 70% and we're only getting 30. So he's like, I'm getting like around $16 for this ride for you today. And I'm like, out of the over 50 something dollars I paid, you're only getting like $15.99. He goes, yeah. Like, Jesus, that's backwards. I'm like, well, what about if I leave a tip? I'm sure they're going to charge me the full amount multiplication for the tip. I hope you get it, because I'm going to go ahead and leave you a decent tip. He goes, nobody really tips anymore. Very rare now, because it's just gotten so expensive, and Uber's keeping most of it anyways. Tips would be nice. He goes, but it's people are complaining about how expensive the rides are getting, and so we're not really getting many tips, as much as we used to. I'm like, what about Uber Eats? You ever do that? He goes, oh, that's even worse. You pick up something and you may get $4 or $5 to go pick up someone's food, drive it to their house, $4 or $5. And again, if they leave a tip, good. But if, again, even there, they're not. I'm like, oh, no. Every time you go to order something on Uber Eats, the price is higher than it normally is. So Uber's getting that, plus the delivery fee they're charging you, and the tiniest amount goes to the driver. I just could not believe, this is out of his mouth, not mine. He's the driver. He's been doing it for many years. He's like, yeah. He goes, here's the other thing. So we want to, we prefer to stand by, say, an airport, so that we can get a car. Chances are you're not going right down the street from an airport. You probably have a little distance. So, we get paid mileage. So, we're trying to pick the better calls, of service. He goes, but then, like, let's say I drop you off, and now I'm over in that area, a thing comes in, and he goes, but it may only be something right down the road, or not as far, and it's, it doesn't pay as well. So he's like, so basically we just say, no, I don't want to do it, and it'll just let someone else get it. He goes, but if you don't do that, because it came up and you declined it, you basically have like a rating. Uber rates you, and your rating starts going down. And if your rating starts going down, it affects you. So he's like, so I'm like, yeah, so they just have you guys by the balls. It's just like a slave. You're a slave. Again, the credit rating system, the credit rating system for everybody, Uber's already doing it to their own drivers. And they ain't making no money. The guy's struggling. I'm like, man, I'm leaving a 25% tip. Sorry. I'm like, I hope he got all of it too. It'd be about the same as what he got paid to start with, $15 or $16. Is what I was thinking. So I was like, oh, I just couldn't even believe it. And the interesting thing is there's a lot of migrants, like Spanish speaking in particular, that seem to be Uber drivers. And, that's just an interesting observation I've made, including the food, Uber Eats. It's kind of just for whatever reason, I don't know why that is, but there's a lot of immigrants doing it. So, But either way, I mean, immigrant or not, you gotta, he said, back in the day, he said, cause I've been doing it a long time. When we got to keep 70% or so. He goes, man, you could just run calls. You could make anywhere $200, $250 a day, and people were quitting their day jobs to go do Uber because it was a good way to make money. $200 to $250 a day. That's not bad. That's some good money. He goes, but now it's flipped. So do the math. And it's just bad. So if that's the math, 30% that they're getting out. I mean, are you even making $100 a day? Not even. And I'm like, whatever you're making, you also have to, like, you're paying for your gas, of course, car insurance, all the wear and tear you're putting on your car, driving everybody everywhere, tires and, just stuff. You're putting a lot of miles on your car. Like, it's just absurd. And what is Uber, the company, actually providing, keeping all that money? All they're doing is putting you in connection with a driver to pick you up, take you up. Now, I realize there's a little more to it than that. We got to do background checks on the drivers or whatever they have to do. Got complaints. You need some customer service. I get it, but 70% you're keeping of the fee? Give me a freaking break. It's just ridiculous, man. And I'm like, tomorrow I gotta do a video about this. I didn't know that. And you see that right there, boy? See that? Telltale sign. I was not in my home environment. I was, in fact, out in New Mexico for a little bit. If you could see the amount of work we had gotten done this last couple of weeks, digging and dumping buckets and everything else, you would be absolutely shocked that two guys really could do so much work and still not get in. And still not make it into the mountain. Oh my God. Spirit, help me, please. They've given me some hints. Actually, Spirit has, but it's just different when you're in there digging and look. It's awful. Like awful hard. But the views are amazing. The smell of the clean, fresh air up in the mountain, nobody's around. Like, it's just incredible. But the old cold sore came in the last few days, and now it's already scabbed over and kind of healing. So, never fails. And I've put crap on there. It does not do anything. I'll put this on there, Joe. It does nothing. It'll just heal on its own just as fast, as far as my experience. And I get them from time to time. I don't get it every time I go out there, but damn it, I do get it. And it doesn't have to be there. I could be in just some other different climate. It seems to do it. Why do they call it cold sore? It wasn't cold over there, it's starting to warm up just like it is over here in Florida. So call it whatever you want to call it, but it's just stupid to dump things. So anyways, that's all for the video. Take it easy.